10 prominent South Africans and a resounding message to the people of this country. Continue your fight against capture and corruption.
How do we massify this process? How do we increase the scale of resistance? How do we send out the message even more loudly than we've been doing until now through various people in every sector of society so that it becomes so loud as to be intolerable to the persons who are occupying these seats and abusing the seats of power in order to enrich themselves. In particular, I think for the community that is largely represented here tonight, we haven't heard a singular voice yet, a collective voice, which says to the Gupta family, you don't represent who we are. You don't reflect what our ethos and our principles are. In fact, the sooner you get out of South Africa, the better for all of us.
We cannot, therefore, let this country go down the drain. We have to protect and promote the legacy of Madiba. We have to promote and protect the legacy of O.R. Tambo. And some of us are even driven by the fact that we had a leader such as O.R. Tambo who loved mathematics and science, but South Africa is number 138 out of 138. How tragic. And we need to fix this country, and nobody else will but ourselves.
We can't continue to have an economy that is scavenged by parasites who are trying to eat everything that is there without sharing with the mass of the people, because then that economy can only serve a few elites. That is why it's important that we create an inclusive economy.
Not only do we have a solid foundation, but that the challenges that we face today are a passing phase, because there are very many good women and men in our country who are capable of reversing the tide of the rot and ensure that we retrace our steps to a journey that is so well articulated in the constitution of our nation.
Let's get back to the constitution, please. We hardly hear about the constitution these days. We hardly hear about the Bill of Rights these days. And really, that should become our point of reference once again.
Keynote speaker, Business Leadership of South Africa CEO Bonang Mohale said South Africa needed an emergency economic recovery plan.
This is South Africa of Rolihlahla Nelson Mandela's dreams. And what were those dreams? He wanted us to be the greatest nation on earth. 23 years into democracy, we're not. We've become the laughingstock of ourselves, of other African countries, but also of the world. Our brand has been tarnished and it has become meaningless. You're no longer happy to drink just from the tap. Now you want to drink from the fire hose. And the capture of national treasury was always the price. And there have been numerous attempts. Another institution that is absolutely world-class, effective and efficient, that we ought to have been proud of, a shadow of itself. So with about 5 weeks before the 20th of December, we pray and hope and are working very hard to agitate and orchestrate that indeed the 20th of December does happen, so that we can have a new class of leadership. And just by doing two things, defining, describing and shaping the fiscal cliff, so that we can come with an emergency economic recovery plan.
The courage and determination of the Timor family was also honored when the SACP Solly Mapaila dedicated his award to the family and in particular to Timor's nephew Imtiaz Kaji. Ahmed Kathrada, SABC News, Johannesburg.